Friend of many years, Anivar Aravind, right?
Yeah.
Anivar, I know you since you were just out of college.
Yeah.
That is maybe going back.
I think even at the time of college we know.
Which year? Which year?
I think when Regina phones are all getting released, you were getting involved in the media coverage at that time.
Who?
Regina free software phone. First free software phone.
In Trivandrum, there was some event in Trivandrum.
This was in Cochin University.
Cochin.
Cochin University. At that time, we were communicating via email.
Correct.
Right.
That may be 98 or 2002, 2005?
2003, 2004 time. And 2004 I was active with World Social Forum also.
20 years back.
Yeah. 2004 Mumbai.
Mumbai.
Yeah. At that time, I think we were communicating at that time. I was running India Indie Media that time.
India Indie Media.
Yeah.
Tell us about your trajectory in the world of free software.
So free software wise, I think I was maybe my internet usage started from 1999. I think my first email got created, and at that time internet was anyway knowledge hub. We were reading all this, and at some point in time, I realized that there is a movement called as around Linux. So the only not much philosophies around it. So then there is one internet cafe in Thrissur near the engineering college, which is running a internet cafe in Red Fox Linux.
Red Hat?
Red Hat. Red Fox Linux was the name. So and that was very interesting to me, and then I read a lot about it. I came to know about the user groups. There is both Linux user groups as well as free software user groups. I joined in some of them, kept getting mails around them. Then I think by 2001, to early 2000, I decided that to take IT as the engineering topic. And 2001 I joined for BTech.
For?
BTech in Cochin University. And then I realized that Cochin University have an active Kochi have an active free software community. There is both a ILEC Cochin as well as a free software user group Cochin. I was active with free software user group Cochin. And then we started exploring this 14 CDs, 14 floppies, Debian, Potato I think. Yeah, Mandriva Linux later. And that was my first UI because most of the other things were not working in my computer. Till that point, there is no way for getting a UI within Linux. So then slowly we built a community over that. I had a set of friends who are working on, there is one person similar to my name, Anwar Umar. He was also very active with Linux. So then we built a community around it in Cochin University itself.
What was your contribution to the free and open source world?
So contribution wise, we were looking at these problems, issues, all these things together. And one of the areas in which I wanted to start working together was language computing. Because if you look at India, same thing happened in multiple cities, right? Multiple cities, people tried to solve the problem of language display, rendering, input method, all this kind of issues around it, and we were also same. And if you look, and in the internet we found that there is some community existing in Kerala working on GNOME. So we started working on KD at that time. So KD Malayalam community born at that time. Then after some time, I think 2006, we merged all these communities together because into the first community started in Malayalam called as Swatantra Malayalam Computing, which is started by Baiju.
Swatantra Malayalam Computing,
which is free Malayalam computing equivalent. So Baiju started this community.
Baiju who? Name rings a bell.
Baiju Muthukadan, who was later a Python Foundation member, active for Python developer. I think he was in Red Hat recently. I'm not sure he's still there or not. So Baiju was the founder of Anivar Computing when he was a student in NIT. He was also, I think, active with Free Software Foundation little bit of time. There was also a effort by some CDIT or KBIP or someone funded some of the efforts at that point of time for Malayalam computing, for GNOME enabling, Malayalam enabling. But all of them were separate efforts. We were working on KDE. So 2006 we tried to merge all this together. But before that, 2004 when Salman was in India, we tried to bring a linguistic movement along with this. Like, there is a movement called as Rajana. Rajana was an effort to restore all this Malayalam characteristics in the language. So because ASCII has this 256 character limit, right? So all the fonts become like all the effort is like changing the characters in English font and placing a new kind of font. And Unicode had the potential of bringing all the characters. So we worked with Unicode. We tried to build a Unicode font around it. And the release of the full character set as GPL was part of Stallman's visit to Cochin. And there is also veterans like Raghavendra Bhatt, Mahesh T. Pai, many other set of folks.
Names bring back memories.
Yeah.
I wonder where Mahesh T. Pai is.
Yeah. I don't know where he is now, but Ramakrishnan Muthukrishnan and many people were active in Kochi, FSUG Kochi, Vimal Joseph. And Vimal later worked with me on Free Software Foundation. Right. So then as my first job, FOSS of India at some point of time, when we mailed asking for some changes, why don't you come and fix it? And I joined in FOSS of India as my first job as its coordinator. And that was a good culture. We were working from space, so there is an NGO called SPACE, Society for Promotion of Alternative Computing.
Thiruvananthapuram.
So space office, me, Vimal, many of us worked together on same kind of concern. James worked with the same set of concerns, and that resulted in a major two transformations in Kerala. And we were building a community around it, right? So automatically that created a two kind of transformation in Kerala. One is IT at schools change into totally free software, and with an IT enabled school curriculum. And there is a lot of instrumental forces like political forces, teachers organizations, all into that. Yeah. Second transformation is Kerala's IT policy change into an inclusive knowledge society policy, which is also the kind of a community we built around changing the IT policies from just industry subsidy policies into kind of policy, looking IT at in a horizontal plane, helping each and every segment. And the policy, the kind of progressiveness you can see in the policy is it has IT in agriculture, IT in education, IT in higher education, not just the industry. And looking at even the e-waste is part of that policy. If you are looking e-waste handling, was also part of that policy. If you are, it's mostly like a green approach to IT, and that was very early that time. And the bigger dreams around it, how to use software as a way for international relations. Setting up a center called IC, International Center for Free and Open Source.
You had guests coming in from Venezuela and all that.
Yeah. Chavez oil money peak time was that, and 2008, we 2005 and 2008 we had Free Software Free Society conference in which a lot of South-South collaboration happened. So their Venezuela delegation was here, and they wanted a supercomputing solution built in India, and they were ready to fund it. But that's the time of their peak money, right? So there was quite a lot of discussion. If you look, reflecting that from current moment, that was a force-based digital public infrastructure building moment, and offering it to other countries. And this time actually transformed national policy quite a bit. This is the same time in which nationally a lot of IT systems coming up. Kerala was pioneering on this with a 95% of successful governmental projects in free software. Nationally, Sam Pitroda was building the Knowledge Commission. A lot of this National Translation Mission, the National Knowledge Commission, all of them are going on. FOSS becomes the common norm around it. And IT systems for welfare is building up. Privacy, welfare systems needed transparency. So all the computing efforts, if you look at that point, maybe at the time of UPA 1 and 2, the UPA 1 possibly, UPA 1 was mostly around state is becoming more transparent to citizens, opening up more data, more open data formats, ensuring that I think Obama was also discussing about open governmental data, and there was an India US collaboration on open governmental data at that point of time. The government open data voters are coming on. So I will say that it was moving towards India's transparency peak moment, and there is a lot of room for scaling the Kerala experiment nationally, and that was also aided with the movement of the officials into the central cadre.
Sorry?
Movement of officials who was Kerala officials into the central cadre.
I see.
For example, Aruna Sundarraj, who was an IT secretary in Kerala before around 2005 time, she became the national secretary in central government. This Ajay Kumar, who was the IT secretary in IT policy implementation time, 2005 to 2008. He later became the IT secretary in government of India, and all of them actually aided the time of potential for moving the Kerala experiment and scaling it nationally. By the time I moved into Bangalore, we built a community. I was actively part of the FOSS and language computing FOSS community, basically free software user group Bangalore at that time. There was a lot of active people at that time. Abbas, Abhinav, Prasad, I think RK, many of them are
RK
Ambati.
ARKAY.
Ragesh RK Ambati.
Yeah.
Right. So many of he later joined in Mosul, I think. I don't know where he is now. So it was a nice time actually. And 2008 in Kerala, the second Free Software had a conference happening. Eben Moglen came.
Eben Moglen from the International Free Software Law Center. Software Freedom Law Center.
He was there. All of them were visiting Bangalore. We were conducting multiple programs in Bangalore. All of them are. It was very active. Jimmy Wales was here. Kerala government was officially releasing its encyclopedia to open licensing. So, and the kind of effort happening around that was quite active.
So what made all these things happen at this point of time?
I think this is for India. I'm not saying that Kerala.
Yeah.
Just a digital transformation time, more digital is coming up. Internet penetration is increasing. I told you, right? In 1996, 8 time is where internet reached most of the Indian cities. Even though it was available for a privileged few before that.
Yeah.
And 2005 till 2005 time was mostly like a exploration time in which you are building the building blocks, so ensuring that you will have the computing power, you will have the desktops, solutions, input tools, all these kind of things. And 2005 to 2008 was flourishing time where we are building ecosystems. So it's the same time in which Wikipedia is growing, same time in which language computing is growing. For example, Swandra Malayalam computing, we reimagined in 2006. 2007 we were the first Indian open source mentoring organization offering student projects under as a Google Summer of Code.
Which organization this is?
Google was having this
Summer of Code
program, and we were SMC was the first Indian organization offering the student mentorship under this program.
I see.
And students are getting some $5,000 for doing a 3-month project.
Which is a lot of money.
Yeah, which is a lot of money, which actually helped us to build a lot of core tools around language computing, right? And we were fixing linguistic issues, input issues, multiple, and web was evolving. And then by 2008, 2009 time, we realized that, hey, this is a time of web. The time of desktop we solved totally. Time of web is coming in, and we need to port all this into web. Right. So Indian language wise, we are porting this to this. Policy wise, the Kerala experiment is extending, and I think open free software movement was also very reactive at that point of time. When the software patent came, there was even public protest in Bangalore.
Public protest?
Candlelight vigils.
I see.
We all part of it.
Yeah.
There in 2005. In 2007, I think when the ODF open document format and OXML, that policy discussion is happening for document freedom, we were win streets.
You were?
We were in streets
I see.
with public programs around it, candlelight vigils around it. We were helping IIT Bombay staff who are working with BIS for preparing the critics. And I think India voted no in ISO two times related to the document standards for citing a lot of reasons. And I was one of the team members who was helping this effort. So there is a standardization effort, there is a backing community effort locally, there is a media coverage around all this. And there is a there is a country which is rallying along with you in the international standardization stage. And that's why I'm saying it's like a peak time where we are defining all this. And even when Obama is visiting India, one of the key agendas on the table is open governmental data, building data.gov.in, all of them. So it is really, and transparency systems are coming into the welfare. RTI is coming. Building systems. So
RTA was hugely important in that sense.
RTA is, and even if you look this mostly from a commons perspective, even Forest Rights Act is also kind of a similar kind of principle where community rights over the resources is assured.
Not just data, we are talking about forest rights also.
Yeah, whether it is forest, whether it is data, whether it is transparency around welfare. A lot of systems are getting built. A lot of progressiveness now was around the corner. And I will say that was the trust peak of India that time. And that trust peak is the moment in which we were able to push the FOSS policies also into government. If you look at 2009 manifestos and of all
party manifestos,
parties, everything is talking about open data, free software. And there was a bigger campaign called initiated by a group called FOSS.com, because FOSS is beyond user groups, beyond companies, and multiple NGOs are also coming into surrounding. So some of us, Sonal Abraham, myself, Nagarjuna, Vengi, I think Vidya was there, Soksha. We created a coalition called as Praveen. Pirate Praveen. So yeah, all of us built a coalition called as FOSS.com with a double M. Okay. Because NASCOM was the other end, pushing the industry agenda. We were building the community agenda around it. And we were lobbying with all the political parties for ensuring that FOSS will be part of their manifesto. And I think that was the that succeeded later with a national mandatory open source policy by Government of India, which came in 2010 or 11. There is a framework for the open source policy came later. Open standard policy came. There is also in the very interesting projects like spoken tutorials, open educational resources project, which is also free content licensing. Creative Commons was active. So that I'll say that it is an ecosystem building, and that reached at a peak by 2010-2011 time. And that is a time in which I think slowly this other transformation is also happening towards the data privatization, all this kind of things. And I think there is multiple global events also triggered that one, like a Jasmine Revolution, multiple other things, need of more control of government over the communities, data, all these kind of things. So in India, Aadhaar project started 2009.
We'll talk about that in the next part of the the discussion. Very interesting. But so that was your trajectory.
Why I am saying this also because of just also because I call it as a GovTech wave 1.0 potentially around this time, 2006 to 2010 period or 2012 period. And why I am saying this, because it is all for freedom, openness, creativity, all this around it. And when you reach at maybe at a later point of time, that from trust peak to a point in which you can't able to run a census with a government authority over a period of time, right? So that kind of a transition happened over a period of time. That's also related to how the freedom thought is lost over a period of time.
we have to discuss maybe
Right.
why or
Yeah.
understand why. But one small question: how did your career shift in this period?
So my career, so my person, I always had this 25% of my personal time and do all these kind of things.
25%.
Yeah, almost like a 25%. Not I'm not talking about the 8 hour in a daily job kind of thing. So towards it's outside that.
Yeah.
So I was working in companies. I was running my own consulting. In between, I started an info activism career.
Info activism.
Info activism group called Moving Republic.
Moving to
We were running kind of experiments around how to help the online campaigns to mobilize, how to scale that campaigns, all using the FOSS principles, primarily around the FOSS principles.